Hey folks, James Downs with Downs Family Bullies. Ran into a guy the other day at church, and somebody had been fishing for, goodness, well over 50 years. He was asking a few fishing questions about, where they at, what we catching them on, and simple, basic, everyday old fishing questions. He was talking about he got a hold of one the other day, and line snapped on him. I asked him what kind of fishing knot he had, what he was using, and his response was a regular old fishing knot, is what he said. And I said, have you watched any of my videos? And he said, no, I hadn't. I said, do you know what a Palomar knot is? He said, no. I explained it to him. He said, no, that ain't what I'm tying. And he tried to describe what he was tying, and I don't know what he was doing. And it occurred to me that this feller's been fishing for over half a century and couldn't tell you what type of knot he was using. And I thought, my goodness. So I'm gonna make another one, and this is kind of a real quick tutorial on how, this is what I do before I go fishing. What I do is I set up a swivel and about 18 inches of line and down to the hook, because the bulk of what I fish with is just regular old Carolina rigs. But this way, a lot of it's already done. That way, if you do have to break your line, cut your line, or it breaks off or gets snagged up, hung up, whatever, you already got something half tied on, and all you got to do is tie this to your line and you're good to go without, spending 15-20 minutes, fiddling with everything and getting it all dug out and everything. You already got them ready to go. I said, you know what? Instead of fighting this wind on my lunch break, I'm gonna go back over how to tie a proper Palomar knot on your fishing rig. That way when you go fishing and your line does break off, you can have something already prepared. And anytime you got more hooks in the water, hey, you're gonna catch more fish. You spend all day fooling with lines, man, it's just aggravating. When you got half that job already done, it makes for a lot more happier day. But anyway, I got everything already pulled out up here. Now I'm gonna show you what I use. Now the majority of the fishing we do are in local creeks, streams, smaller rivers, but the bulk of what we do is fishing in the Sunflower River and the Quiver River, and we use number 6/0. There you go, Whisker Seeker hooks. This is the triple thread hooks. This is my go-to. It's heavy, sturdy, got plenty of backbone in it. Well, what we do is we're gonna tie us a quick snail knot. Let me get up here so that y'all can see. Now you always want to take your snail knot and you want to feed into the points here. You're feeding in this way. Now this is how you want to go about doing it. You feed it in the hole, and you're gonna pull you a decent length, probably about 10 inches. Now you're gonna make you a fold right there. You're just folding it back on itself, that's all. Now see, you got your main line here, and then you got your little tag in right here. Now you're gonna pinch your main line and tag in right here at the eyelet, just like that. Just pinch it. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna come back around this on the back side of that eye and just start twisting it on the back side of that eye. So I'm pinching it and I'm going around and I'm pulling it back just like that, and I'm going around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and sometimes they'll bunch up on you. Got to push them back, and then we go 6, and I normally do 7. Now what we want to do is, this is where you need that third hand at that I ain't got. So what we're gonna do at this point is we're gonna pinch it right there, and then all we're doing is holding it where it's twisted, and we're holding that loop right there up under the bottom of it. Now we're gonna push this back through that loop, just like that. Now once that's in there and it's sitting just like it right there, you want to pinch that. Now you want to pull on your main line, and that's gonna pull all of these bands up. So you just pinch and pull. What I'm doing is I'm holding it to keep these bands from coming over the top of that eyelet, and I'm using these two fingers to kind of pull it and pull it and pull it until we get something that looks like that. And then you can just kind of jerk on it a little bit. Now you may have to wet your line right there at that point, may not. But we're gonna take it and just jerk on it like that. Now these I can stick my finger in, because like I said, these are 6/0 whisker seeker hooks. But I take my finger and I stick in there just like that and get a real good pull and get that thing tight. And then we've got our little tag end right here. And we're gonna cut that off. If I can find my pocket knife, we're gonna cut it off anyhow. There we go. Alrighty. Alrighty. Looking like I need a knife sharpener. But it's done. Now what we've got here is about quarter, well, not even that long, about 1/8 of an inch, little end right there. And that's it. That's what we use. It don't matter where we fishing for, what we're fishing with. That's how I tie every last hook. It don't matter if I'm brim fishing with a number 6 hook, or if I'm out there in the Mississippi River with a 10-aught hook trying to catch one of them Mississippi River catfish. That's the line. 30-pound whisker seeker line. And that's the knot. Just a standard old, I'm gonna be done stuck myself in the finger, and a standard old snell knot. That right there. That's the backbone of every fish hook I do. Now, what we do is when we're catfishing, or really a lot of times even when I'm not catfishing, even when I'm brim fishing, I use swivels. But I use snap swivels, just like that one right there. That way I can swap them in and out fast. Now let me show you what we're doing here. I'm gonna run it through, and then I run it back through. I don't want to fold it in half and push it through and kink that line. See how that looks? It ain't kinked and it ain't bent. That'll cause a weak spot in your line. So what I do is I double it up and pull me about 4.5 inches right there, and then I make me a loop. Just a regular old loop. Bend it over. That line's thick. Let's see what you got there. It's just a regular old loop knot. Just like it. And well, y'all can see what I'm looking at. Now see, I've got my main line and my tag line and my loop knot. Now what I'm doing is I'm holding on to that loop end, and I'm gonna take my swivel and I'm gonna poke it through that loop and just push the whole thing through. Let me turn it around so y'all can see. And I'm pushing that whole thing through, and then I just pull it. So I'm gonna pull my tag in, and then my main line, and my tag in, and then my main line, back and forth until I get both sides good and tight. Now that's called a compression knot. Now what that works is, and it's with most knots, the tighter you pull it, the tighter that knot gets. And the knot itself is actually holding itself by force on there. And that's it. Now right down here, you've got 2 rows of that line side by side going into a knot right here. You just ain't gonna get no better fishing knot than that right there. Now a lot of times for years and years before I started snelling on my hook, I was one of them people that used to complain all the time, couldn't catch nothing on a circle hook. And after I realized how you're supposed to tie them, then I figured out why I wasn't catching nothing on my circle hooks. Since I started snelling them circle hooks, I have 0 percentile on the complaints. You can sit there, run your mouth, drink you a cold drink, whatever you want to do, and the fish virtually hook themselves. And once you see that thing jiggling around and you instantly want to jump up there and grab it, how about don't? How about let that thing sit there? Let the hook do its job. That's a Palomar knot. for those folks who don't know and has been fishing for 50 years. That's one of the strongest fishing knots you can have. They've got knots, 1,500 different knots out there. Folks want to tie this knot and that knot. And it's not a knot. I don't fool with all that mess. They got knots out there that take 15 minutes to tie one knot. You throw it out there and you get hung up. Well, you got 15 more minutes to tie another knot on that hook, man? No. What are you doing? Just to have something new, say, hey, I got that super new cool knot out there. Man, you ignorant out there doing that. You just doing stuff just for the sake of doing it. When I go fishing, I go to catch fish. I want to spend more time fishing. But this is what we set up. I got my snap swivel, Palomar knot to the hook, snail knot, and I'll have 8 or 10 of these already wrapped up in a little case I got that you get from Walmart. It's a little bitty round case. Looks like it holds beads that the girls is making the jewelry out of, the bracelets and the necklaces and stuff like that. It's over in that section, in the arts and crafts section, but it's round, about the size of a saucer. And I put 8 or 10 of these in there, and that way it don't matter what's going on. I'm half already right now. The only thing I have to do from this point is I'll take my weight and my leader and my little old bead, tie that on here, boom, done. It's quick and easy. Ain't nothing to it. But I do all that before I ever go fishing, because like I said, you know, we busy with the dogs and everything, and then we got a lot of soccer games and everything going on. If I go fishing and we take the time to go, I want to do as much time fishing as I can. I don't want to sit there and fiddle with knots all day. But anyway, if you've been fishing for 50 years and you don't know what knot to tie you a Palomar knot. Tell them old JD showed you how to do it. Like, share, subscribe. Anyway, it's James Downs with Downs Family Bullies, and we'll holler at y'all later. Y'all have a good one.